It's been 12 years since
What?
this incredible artist blessed us with dreams, and he has returned with his current masterpiece, the trilogy Passion, Melancholy, and Hope. The incredibly talented Mr. Brian Culbertson. My brother, how are you doing?
Wow, what's up, man? I'm well, thank you. Good to be here.
Oh man, the pleasure is truly all mine. You had a lot going on, man. You have your own live YouTube channel going on every Friday night,
Yeah.
which I've had an opportunity to see, and it's been fantastic, man.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
so tell us what's been going on with you besides that. Other things been going as far as musically and just life in general.
Well, we got a curveball, didn't we?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, okay, no shows. What? It's like, what do we do now? Um, so, like many people, we turned to streaming, and as that turned out for me, it's been a really cool thing. Like I say, keeping connected with the fans out there since we weren't able to, go on the road per se. Um, I I was just amazed at imagine had this gone down like 10 years ago before streaming existed.
Big
It'd have
difference.
been a huge difference.
Yes.
So, with the new technologies, that's been an amazing thing that has come out of so much craziness. So I'm thankful for that. And because of that, I wrote all these songs on the trilogy. I was writing songs on the streaming show because I also stream Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't know if
Okay.
everybody even knows that.
Really?
I started the Hang Club. So part of the Hang Club, I do these extra shows.
Okay.
So a lot of the Monday and Wednesday shows, I was really showing how I start a song from scratch and actually produce it track by track by track. And so, over the 2 years, all of a sudden I had 3 albums. So
Incredible. Well,
crazy.
I'm gonna tell you something. All of the music that you have blessed us with, I can honestly say this particular project to me seems more intimate
Yeah.
from you. Really, really intimate, where it's just everything's just based upon just music.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to give the listeners your perspective as far as your thoughts and emotions going into this project, having so much downtime just basically due to the pandemic, to as far as being able to be, I guess, more creative from this aspect.
I mean, it stemmed from really just starting to write these songs by myself. There was really no collaborations going on.
Right.
I was like, okay, so it's me in the studio, not even leaving the house, like everybody. Nobody was going anywhere for a while.
Right.
And I, may take a walk around and then get back home. But it was really just that's why it was so intimate, I think. It was just kind of me sitting in the studio, playing by myself. The only outlet being, a couple nights a week, I'd go live. But other than that, I'm just sitting in there just trying to get all emotional, with this music. And I think
Right.
that really comes across, both the intimacy and the emotion from it.
It really does. It resonates. Having this type of, I know for me, going through this pandemic, it gives you an opportunity to get a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know from you, as far as from the creative perspective, doing something where I've seen you live several times.
Mm.
And what you do in your live performances is on a completely different level than what you create in the studio. You
Yeah.
have all this unleashed energy.
Yeah.
Not being able to use that in a live performance, how are you able to kind of generate that same type of energy from a mental capacity and input that into your music as from a creative process, being in this pandemic and working on these three projects?
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you saw a handful of the shows that I did do on the Friday night.
Okay.
I tried to emulate a live show, right? I call it BC Live,
Right.
Live Jams, or whatever it was. And
Right.
so I would take these recorded tracks from my live shows, remove the piano from the mix. And so then I would play along live as if I were at a concert with the applause going. I had brought in the lights going, like, look at that,
Right.
it's crazy. And
Oh,
so
man.
that's sort of how I was doing it. I'd still be sitting in my chair playing the keyboard. So people would be like, oh, he's chair dancing right now. So again, being able to stream was a real lifesaver for me, and for, as I heard from many of the fans out there, for them as well. Just trying to stay sane. And, as you saw, I purposely didn't even really talk about anything on the
Right.
show. And that was really, really on purpose. I just wanted to create an hour of escapism for everyone. Just, you know what? There had been so bombarded on them via media, social media, wherever it was. I was like, you know what? Let me just play some music, try
Right.
to relax, drink some wine, chill out for a minute. And that was kind of my goal from the beginning. Um, and for many people, it was a blessing. So
The way that you go about expressing this, it seems very therapeutic.
yeah,
And I know, and music has always been a source of therapy. I know for me
yeah,
personally, for you, as you said, trying to create that live energy, being at home. It's like I'm used to seeing Brian out on stage, going from one end of the stage, just really just
yeah.
you have the audience in the palm of your hands,
Mm.
and now not having that right there with you and trying to recreate that in the studio. I know that can be challenging, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that you've always loved to do, a challenge. So
Oh yeah.
how challenging was it for you to say, you know what, okay, no problem. I'm not on stage, but I'm going to create my own different
Yeah.
kind of energy in the studio. How challenging was it for you, and how gratifying to know that you actually pull it off by having so many of your, I don't like to use fans. That's really just listeners, supporters
Yes.
who just truly just love what you're doing with the live streaming.
I mean, I don't know about yourself, but the older I get, the more I realize, yeah, I know. The more I realize, and that change can be a good thing. And
Absolutely.
not to fear change, and to really embrace it, because it's change. That's the only constant, right? Is
Yeah,
change.
it's change.
So, when I was younger, I'd be like, you get all freaked out, right? It's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And so now I'm like, all right, let me just see where is this going right
There
here.
you go.
Of
There you
course, in the
go.
beginning, there's this feeling of easiness, but if you really kind of take a step back and think about it calmly, you figure out ways of turning it into a positive. So that's kind of how I look at things these days.
I remember you gave an interview maybe around, I say about 7 years ago. And one of the things that you expressed, you continually talked about growth,
Okay.
not just as a musician, but also as a human being,
Mm,
giving a better understanding of who you are as a person. Because being an artist, you give so much of yourself to so many people,
mm,
but trying to balance the Brian on the stage and the Brian at home, it can be challenging. So
yeah.
how did you manage to do that, man? Brian the stage present, but then the Brian at home where, hey,
Yeah.
I want to sit back. I want to have a glass of wine. I want to I want to spend time with the missus, just kind of quiet down. How do you set? Because Brian,
Yeah.
like I said, I've seen you several times before,
Yeah.
and your ego is on a whole nother level when you perform. It's just, it's like, I'm that dude. I know it. Your
Well,
stage presence is incredible. So how have you managed to kind of balance it?
I mean, let's face it, a stage persona is a persona. You're
Right.
playing whatever that character is in the moment. You know,
Right.
of course, I'm not going to act like that when I'm in my own living room. That'd be ridiculous. So, but then vice versa, you know, when I'm chilling at the house, laying on the, I'm not going to act like that on stage either.
Right.
You know, people are like, "What? Did he smoke something? What's going on here?"
Right.
So, you know, it's to me, it's a natural balance of, hey, you know what? I'm going and plan. I'm playing hard. I'm gonna entertain. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna interact. I'm gonna just enjoy myself on stage
Right.
and make sure the audience enjoys themselves. You know,
Right. Right.
that's a lot of jazz musicians don't understand. It goes two ways. You know, making sure that everyone out there is having a great time.
Right.
That to me is really, really important. But then when you go home, it's also important to have somebody in your home, you know, that being for me and my wife,
Right.
that, you know, keeps you grounded. Otherwise, you touched on that earlier, the ego could just go out of control
Oh,
if you
wow.
don't have someone at home keeping you like real,
Grounded.
right?
Oh, keeping you grounded
And
because
we've seen that with many artists, you know, they just get out of control. It's like, man, they clearly don't have someone in their corner
right.
looking out for them in terms of a human, a real person.
Right.
You know, they're just feeding their show persona only. And I think that's very bad, you know.
It's interesting that you brought that out because we have a track record of so many different artists, so from so many different genres who've
Yeah.
had that problem where
Sure.
they
Yeah.
can't separate the two. As you said, a lot
Right.
of these great artists don't have anyone they can go home to and just kind of decompress
Right.
and become grounded and
Right.
being able to balance.
Yeah.
You put so much energy in your live performances. How long does it take you after a live performance to kind of decompress,
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
gather yourself?
That adrenaline is
Yeah.
intense, let me tell you. Yeah. I'll say that I never took drugs. I never did any drugs because to me that the being on stage
It's a high.
was such a high. You know, I couldn't imagine more, you know.
Right.
That it's amazing feeling, but like you said, it takes a while to chill out afterwards. So if I'm on tour, if we're on a bus tour, let's say,
Okay.
so here's my schedule after the show. So sometimes we go out and we'll sign autographs. Sometimes we don't. It depends on what's going on. But right after that, I'll immediately go take a long hot shower because I am hot and stanky. Let me tell you, you got to peel off the
Right.
clothes because that man 2.5 hours. That's a workout on stage. Let me tell you.
Yes.
So do that, and then we get on the bus and we just kick it for a while. You know, another at least hour. We just, you know, talk about stuff, maybe have a beer or something. I don't know, a glass of wine or something. I don't know, a couple hours. And then until I can't stay awake anymore. And then I fall into the bunk and then just pass out. So,
What gives you more gratification? Because, I'm putting it in this perspective that a lot of jazz artists that I've had the pleasure, and just not just jazz artists, but artists
yeah,
that I've had the pleasure of conversing with,
yeah.
they've always talked about in the early stages of their career what gave them the most gratifications, not just performing live on stage, but after when they would just have jam sessions, when everybody would
Mm,
just get together and just jam.
mm,
And I've seen you do that on
mm,
more than a couple of times. What is the feeling when you get surrounded with so many different great artists that you like and just have
hmm.
just a natural, organic jam session, man? What is that feeling like?
That's an interesting question. Wow. It depends on who's there, what's
Right.
going on, what's the
Okay.
vibe. I'll tell you, my
Right.
favorite jam session was
Oh,
with Prince.
yeah.
No doubt about that. 'Cause let me tell you something, you know, when he did a jam session, man,
Session,
that
yeah.
wasn't a jam session. They were they were tight.
Yeah.
They had rehearsed that stuff.
Yep.
So I was just trying to fit in, you know. and just like, okay, well, we're gonna go over here now. Okay, there's where it is. I mean, it's an amazing feeling, as you can imagine. But on the flip side, if you don't know what's going on, let's say you don't know the song for whatever reason, it could be a little like nerve wracking. Because you're like,
Right.
oh, I'm just gonna stand back here now, and
It kind of observes.
because I don't know every song ever written. Come on, nobody does. Um, so it just depends on the situation. It could be super cool, or like,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna take off now.
Man, it is. It's a completely different vibe. I
It
want to
is. It
touch
is.
on a an artist that I consider him a really good dude, and we just
Mm.
lost him not too long ago, Nick.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and when he passed away like that, like I said, it really gives you an opportunity to just kind of reevaluate where you are
Mm-hmm.
and where we fit in this small world,
Yeah.
and it gives you a different perspective on life because every day is a blessing.
Yeah.
And you have been truly blessed, man. You've been really truly blessed. You have been given a very special, unique gift to bless everyone and bring unity through your music.
Mm.
And I wanted to find out from you because I know from afar, I've seen you from afar, you were definitely a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So when you worked on
Uh,
these three projects,
yeah.
how many tracks did you actually leave off on these on these three projects that didn't actually make it? You kind of, well, this will do it. Nah, this is not good enough. We need to come back and put something else and redo it.
Believe it or not, I've always been this way. I work this way. I realize early on within a songwriting process if it's going to make it or not.
Right.
So many times I don't even finish a song if I'm not feeling the initial start or the impetus of that track.
Okay.
So to answer your question, maybe two or three only.
Really?
Yeah. Only
Wow.
because if it's not happening early on, I kind of bail on it and scrap it. I'm like, this is
Okay.
crap. I
Okay.
can tell. So I'm really fast with understanding and knowing if something's gonna work
Okay.
for that particular project that I'm in the middle of.
Okay. Okay.
So, because a lot of artists come to me, hey man, let me get one of your extra tracks just laying around. I know you got a million. I'm like, I actually don't.
That's new, refreshing. That's one of the
Yeah,
rare times that I've actually heard an
yeah,
artist actually tell me that because they'll say they've worked on tracks, scrapped it,
yeah.
come back, add this part, and they said, no, I'm not happy with this. And next thing you know, they've worked on maybe 85 tracks and only half of them made it
Not me.
to the project. And it's like, wow, okay, okay,
I feel that's a waste of time. I'm
okay.
like, if it's not happening, why try to like beat
Force
it
it
into
in, right?
submission? Ugh. I don't know if I've always been that way since the very beginning. I sort of knew early on, okay, this is not happening. Scrap next.
Right. Well,
I don't know.
it comes across, and I want to touch upon as far as I guess a lot of people that don't understand if they're not in a healthy, loving relationship, especially being an artist.
Yeah.
I've seen your growth from each project, and I wanted to ask what kind of influence has the love and respect that you have for your wife,
Yeah.
vice versa?
Hmm.
How has it influenced your writing and also as far as composing your music?
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. We're together all day, so
That's a beautiful
um,
thing.
whether it's yeah, she's been just unbelievably supportive from day one. Um, been she genuinely likes the music that I make, so I guess that's important.
Right.
Um, yeah, but is also so encouraging and randomly throws ideas over here, over there. Hey, what about this? What about that? So, she's a musician, very talented musician herself. So it's not like, I'm just with somebody that doesn't have a clue what's going on. No, she
Right.
has very, very talented. Exactly.
Man.
So, she's always throwing ideas out. Hey, what do oh, you should do this or try this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. So she's a huge part of, all my music. going back to my second album. The only one she wasn't a part of was my first
Right.
one because I
Right.
hadn't met her yet.
There you go. Life
That
changing, man.
yeah, it
Life
came
changing.
out, and then 4 months later, that's when we met.
That's a
So
beautiful thing, man.
yeah.
And for those who are tuning in, we want to thank you so much. We're being joined again by the incredibly talented Mr. Brian Culbertson, of course,
Mm.
the new CD or new trilogy uh, project. Man, I'm looking forward to being able to get back out in the world and seeing these live performances. And I know you are. I know you are too. Um,
I've been doing a bunch though, so it's been great. We started back out last November,
okay. Okay.
and then we've been going out all over the place. So one thing that I did change is because of everything is I've changed the way that I've been touring. I'm trying to do like 2-3 weeks on a bus and like really pack it in
Okay.
tight, as opposed to always flying in and out and being like, oh. I
Right.
got tired of that, man. I did that for hell 20 some years, right?
Long time. Yeah. A long
That
time.
it just gets it's that's rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Always on an airplane every day, every other day.
A lot of times you don't even know what city you're in because
Oh yeah, yeah.
you're constantly on the move. I didn't get a chance to ask you this the last time. And I said when I get Brian on, I wanted to ask him this.
Mm.
You've had an opportunity to travel around this globe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the listening fans outside of the United States, just in Europe in general, in Japan, do they have a greater appreciation for jazz than we do here at home?
It's different, I think. I would say a lot have a greater appreciation of more traditional jazz potentially.
Okay. Okay.
Um, But in terms of the contemporary jazz that, I'm
Right.
doing and my colleagues are doing, I would say it's definitely more popular in the US.
Okay.
Um, just because of I don't really know why. We clearly had a lot of FM radio stations in the 90s.
Yes.
Maybe that was a big push for that. And they do not overseas, or did
Exactly.
not. Uh, I don't know. Maybe it's everyone's taste,
I think,
depending on where you go.
this is true. When I spoke with Bobby Caldwell, he told me, he said, when he's toured multiple times, say to Japan, he's being
Yeah,
treated like royalty. He
yeah,
said they have a greater appreciation for the music. You were able to still go to record stores
yeah,
out there and buy albums, whereas out here in the States, Tower Records and uh, Music Land, Warehouse, all these major outlets, they're all gone now.
yeah, yeah.
And it's incredible because I remember when you started, there was no social media, none of this existed. You
No,
had to go out and really earn your bones, and really, the record label had to go out there and really promote what you're doing. And now it's become more advantageous to be an independent artist than
yeah,
it is being with a major label. And I want to talk about that independence with you. What
sure.
has it meant to you to have that level of creative control over your music, knowing, hey, this is what I choose to put
Well,
out?
it's unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, it's everything. I have no boss anymore,
Right,
sort of thing,
right.
right? Imagine, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
I
Man.
mean, it's before it was always like, I think I'm going to go in this direction. Is that okay? What kind of budget do we have? And then I was just always fighting back and forth.
Right.
What was, I don't know. It's rough, man.
Yeah, you're in the
It was
boardroom.
rough.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Brian, we think you need to go to this direction to make it,
Yeah.
friendly airplay. And you're like, I'm not feeling this.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking the essence of who I am as a musician, as an artist. And now it's like, I don't have to go to a studio. I have my own studio
Yeah.
in my home.
Yeah.
And I can create when I want to create, not having anyone hovering over me, telling me this needs to be radio friendly so we can push it.
Yeah.
There's people that truly love music, as you said earlier, they're going to vibe with you.
Yeah.
They're going to ride with you
Yeah.
without question. What has this love affair meant to you as far as knowing that where you started, and now you've gained even more supporters through social media. And I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
They love you to death. What has that feeling been like for you,
God, it's amazing. Come on. Uh, yeah. I mean, on one hand, it's amazing, but on another hand, let's face it, it's a little weird because you don't
Okay.
know who they are.
Right, right.
You know, their profile picture could be of some person, and maybe it's not.
Right.
I don't know.
This is
I don't know.
true. This
I
this
don't know.
this is true. This is
So
true.
there's a little like weirdness about it because your brain, this is so new still to us in
Right.
terms of our brain. Thinking
Mhm.
about like, okay, yeah, I'm getting all this adulation via social media. What does that mean? Is it real? Is it? I think it is, but maybe
Oh yeah.
not. I don't know. But finally, when I've been able to go back out on the road
Mhm.
and seeing these people that I've seen their screen names right
Yeah.
online. Hey, that's you. So that is validating to me.
Right. It has that having that Sally Field moment. They
Yeah,
like me. They
right.
really
It's a real person.
right. It's a real person. It's real man. It's definitely a vibe. I remember when it no longer exists. I remember concerts by the sea in Los
Mhm.
Angeles.
Mm.
And I remember a lot of great artists like yourself used to go there frequently and perform there. Now it's like the jazz venues now are very small and compact, very few. You still have Yoshis, but a
Mm.
lot of other things now are just part of playing these big venues. What gives you more gratification, playing the bigger venues or playing the more small, intimate venues?
My favorite venue is a nice theater, kind
Okay.
of right in the middle.
Okay.
So over the past several years, I've really tried to push my management, my booking agents, and everyone to say, hey, you know what? Let's really try to get nice theaters. And I think that's the best experience for both us, the musicians, and the fans.
Right.
I'll tell you why, because the sound is really controllable. It's typically a good sound.
The
We,
acoustics.
yeah, we bring
Yes.
in our own band equipment. We bring in a lot of times our own lighting.
Okay.
So I have full control over the experience, the whole evening, right?
I like the way you just said that. I
Yeah.
have control
Yes.
over that
Well,
for you,
let's face
man.
it, a giant festival, you're out
Yeah,
of control of it. And then a
right.
tiny little jazz club,
Right.
there's no good sound system in there. There's no
This is
lights.
true.
So that's more about the rawness to me,
Okay.
which can be fun and cool. And yeah, you're interacting more with the audience right there in the front row because they're 2 feet in front of you.
Right.
But I think overall, the best experience for everyone is a nice medium-sized theater, anywhere from 750 seats to 2,500 seats.
Mm.
That's my sweet spot,
Right.
depending on what market we're playing. Some
Okay.
markets, we do the larger venue.
There you
Other
go.
smaller markets, we do the littler theater.
There
So,
you go.
you know, so that's been my MO and my goal over the past few years. And that's the majority of the shows that we're doing these days.
And man, I've always been impressed with the vines that you wear. And for you younger people out there, if you don't understand what vines mean, threads, man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Oh, man.
It's bad. It's on a whole nother level. I said, man, it's beautiful, man. The stage presence and then just the pure musicianship. And speaking of
Uh,
musicianship, I want all the listeners out there, be sure Brian's YouTube channel. To get all the pertinent information, make sure you go to his website. That's brianculbertson.com. And also this Thursday, he has a very special guest at the Hang, yes,
yeah.
Lord, with the very talented Miss Lindsay Webster. And also with Brian, if I'm not mistaken, Slattery. I got it right.
Keith Slattery is
Keith Slattery. There you
yeah.
go.
So he's been with her a long time as a keyboardist and songwriter, and so they're coming together. They have a show in Chicago on Friday
Okay.
night. In fact,
Oh, that's
like a
beautiful.
live show. So I was like, hey, what are you doing Thursday?
There you go.
So
Tell
I
us
mean,
about
normally I stream on Friday, but since they had the show on Friday, I was like, well, let's do special Thursday edition.
do it
So
Thursday.
that's
Tell
how it
us
worked
about
out.
the wine, man. You have some wonderful wine. Tell us about
Oh well,
yes. Gotta tell us about it now.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've
Uh-huh.
produced and done my own wine blending. I don't have any currently, but I'm working on a new, actually two new wines for next
Okay.
June,
Okay.
because
Okay.
next June is going to be our 10th anniversary of the Napa Valley Jazz Getaway,
Incredible.
which is my 4-day festival out in Napa. So I'm working on some new wine to
Okay.
celebrate that. So once it comes out, it's probably going to come out next spring.
Okay.
Uh, you'll know.
Yes, Lord.
It's gonna be good.
If you had to put into words to sum up these the trilogy, how would you sum it
Mm. Um, it's really three different emotions. You read it early on,
up?
and it kind of follows. It turned out that the emotional arc of the three albums follows this almost a long-term relationship. The beginning, the Red album, was
Yeah.
hot and steamy, right?
Passion.
Passion.
Yes.
The Blue album in the middle is sadness. It's melancholy. It's
Yeah.
maybe there's a breakup in the middle,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
You're going through hard times, and then part three of the trilogy is the uplifting, hopeful, happy ending.
Man. And
And
I want
so,
man.
yeah, if you get a chance to listen to all three back to back, I mean, it's 3 hours long, so
Yes.
yeah, it's a commitment. But if you do, I think it is an emotional experience.
Without
So
question.
much more so than just one single album.
And I want to thank you for continually uplifting us with your music. I
Mm,
want to thank you for really continually striving for perfection
mm,
and this ability to create different putting we have a tendency a lot of times to put ourselves in a box, and that's one of the things that I've always been impressed with you. You never allow anyone to put you in a box. You always
mm.
push the envelope, man, and I want you to continually do that. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and blessing us once again, man. And I have the album. Yes, Lord, I have the album.
All right.
And all three are incredible, man. I want to
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for joining us today. Really, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Great to be here and great talking with you. Uh,
Absolutely.
Great questions. Not
Yes, Lord.
everyone, knows what to ask, So it's all good.
That's what I do, man. That's what I do. Thanks so much, Brian. God bless,
Beautiful.
man.
My
All right.
pleasure. Thank you.
The incredible Brian Culbertson here on the zone of LOTO.